What's up, dreamers? Welcome back to the Rocker Review. I'm Bryce of Midnight Notion, and as promised, we're going to continue through with the album 72 Seasons. We've already done all the singles. We did a full album reaction, so now I'm going to, by request, react to each individual song that remains, continuing on with Shadows Follow. So why wait even longer? Hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Here we go. We got patterns. I know we're just getting started, but the first couple times I heard this song, I was intrigued by the fact that this intro only happens once and it never comes back again. Or so I thought. This actually is setting up a pattern that will repeat through the entire song. It's the 3-3-2 pattern. I think there's a name for it. Aha, the 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗡. I knew it had a name. At the core of the 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗡, we're emphasizing 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. We're splitting one measure into 3 hits, but they're not equidistant. The last hit has a shorter amount before you get to the next measure. The reason I'm bringing this up is because this intro, while it's not exactly the same throughout the song, that pattern, the 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗡 pattern, is in the main riff, and it's in the chorus, and it's in most of the song. And actually, you could argue that the bridge section of this song is an extension of that beat. So the whole thing that we're going to talk about for this entire episode is how masterful they've taken one simple rhythmic idea and expanded it into a however many minutes long this song is, and it's masterful on the same levels as Enter Sandman is basically just one riff extended into a 5+ minute song. So pay attention to the 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2, and we'll count along with it, and we'll see how those guitars use that same riff throughout the whole song, and it never gets boring. It's always interesting. Let's continue. Changes up with the chugs, and then new pattern. Same thing, just up on the fretboard. 4 times each. Yeah, I have to stop there too because that is my favorite snare hit in basically all of Metallica's discography. That's right next to Sad But True's. Just that one single crack. And I don't know, it's not even a big crack. It's not a big echo. It's just everything else stops and it gives all this room for just the snare to go pa. Here we go again. We have 4 times for the intro with just the stops. And then we have another 4 times, but this time it's with the chugging guitar behind it. Same rhythmic pattern for everybody else, but the rhythm keeps going. And then we shift it up and we go to that, wherever it is. Is it a B flat or something? Dun, 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 dun. We're going up a little bit. And it's a similar pattern, but the drums are now going on the 1 2 3 4. We do that 4 times. So we get 4 4 4. And then with the stops, it's just bump, 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 crack. It's just 2 times. So it's cool that we're kind of crushing it down. We're not going to repeat the same amount of times each time we change the riff. Cool. And then we have the return of our 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗙𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's at the very beginning of the riff. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. We also have another pattern that comes back later. I'm going to have you pay attention to the way that the guitar moves. It's 4 and 1, 2 and 3. And later on, they're going to change it to 1 and 2, 3 and 4. We'll come back to that. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3.
Hanging by a thread as a bloody head. Ba, ba, ba. Hanging by a thread and my mind is cold red. Gun and run, trying to hide, get away, shut my eyes just to hide from the fight. Gun and run, try to hide, get away, cover up, get shelter from the hate.
back to the main riff. This is also unheard of in Metallica's discography. We have a different sort of pattern for the structure of their song. We have a first verse, and we're going into a half verse after that before the chorus. Well done, boys. Love the harmony. But hear that in the chorus, it's still, even though the drums are doing that roll, we still got the guitars doing, it's just through the whole thing. It's beautiful. The drums are simple too. You'd expect more crash cymbals. Love it. Pre-chorus. Hold out, little drum solo, fill rather. Love those reverse sounds. You've got James's voice, just his shh. Nice. Now this section, we change it out of the Bo Diddley beat to emphasize the 1 and the 3. We have a 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and 1 and 3. It's cool. It's a variation. I guess you could argue that it's a new riff because it does have a different pattern to it. But I like to say that this is a variation on the main riff. It's kind of a callback. We also have elements here of the middle section of Battery right before the guitar solo. The part that they cut out of their live shows, they just hold out that last, they hold out the note, "Are you alive? Show me." Da, 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 da. But the album version has that whole kind of build-up section. That's what this part reminds me of here. We also have elements of, what's the track on the Black album? I keep forgetting. Is it Through the Never? Of Forever. It kind of goes up with the harmonies. So this next part kind of reminds me of that. But what I'm going to do after we listen to the song is I'm going to piece together all of the parts where the guitars are emphasizing the 1 and the 3 to really illustrate what you can do with drums, because I think this is a perfect example of how much drums can change the feel of a piece. So pay attention to, right now we're doing kind of a halftime vibe on the drums, and the guitars are doing that chug on the 1 and the 3. Halftime. Later, we're going to play the same exact riff, but he's going to go straight time using the hi-hats. And then later, he's going to do halftime with the crash cymbals. And then even later, he's going to do straight time again. And they're going to add other licks on top of it. So I'd like to show you the same riff side by side. We'll do that later on so you can hear what the build sounds like without the in-between stuff. But I want you to pay attention to that as you're listening, because I think it's awesome how they can build one riff into so many different ways.
Still my shadows follow.
Oh, I'm wrong. Halftime still. Harmonized. Love this. Straight time. building tension. Here we go. All right, listen. Right there, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. It's the same as that main riff and the rhythm. I know some of you are listening to the lead guitar, you're shredding, and you're mad that I stopped it. Too bad. But the rhythm guitar is calling back to the intro, but instead of the bow diddly beat and then 4 and 1, 2 and 3, we have the bridge section beat with the 1, 3, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. It's calling back. It's the same, but it's different. Rhythmic ideas mashing together, switching them up, scrambling them, and giving us multiple different ways to play the same thing over one song. You don't need to add 1,000 riffs to your song. I'm talking to you, and Justice for All. You could just have one riff, spread it out, make it different and unique with each new verse and section, and we can still enjoy it. I love this song. This is great. Halftime, crash cymbal. Adding that little lick on the end. Little Judas kiss here. Same riff. Great. Just get right into it. No transition needed. Wait for the time signature change. Here we go. Listen, count. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, just one little measure of 6/4. If you feel like adding a couple of beats, go right ahead. I say no, still my shadows follow. I'm a brother man. Yeah. Is this riff again? Okay, yep. Buddy, what a cool ending to the song. And then those hits, ba-ba, ba-ba. You're expecting 2, you're expecting 4, but Metallica knows just when to decide how many it's gonna be. One time it's only 2, one time it's 4, and at the end here it's 6, and on that 6th time it isn't even a ba-ba, it's a ba-ba, it's like a slide down and then crash landing on the bottom. What a fun, cool song. You know what? Before we look at the lyrics, I want you to hear this. I'm going to take this riff. I'm going to edit it. So I'm not going to listen along. I want you to hear just the bridge riff that repeats over and over and over. And I'm going to do it in order of operations, in order of how we hear it. And I want you to listen how the drums change over the course of the song and how that changes the energy of just the same riff over and over. Take a listen. How that works? It's really cool to me. Yeah, you just change up the drums. So if you're writing songs at home, I encourage you to take a riff, put it on a loop, and play a couple of different versions of what you might play on the drums. Play a fast version, play a slow version, do a thrash beat, do a halftime, switch it up a couple of times and see what feels right. The same riff can sound different with different drums. You never know what you can find off of just one little riff. Let's take a look at the lyrics here. The main piece of this song is actually the title of it, Still My Shadows Follow, right? This is sort of the through line that holds these lyrics together. The point of the song is to say that I've experienced, or James has experienced, or you, whoever the singer of the song is, it has experienced darkness in their life, some form of trauma, and no matter how hard they try to find that light, to find the joy in life, that trauma still kind of dangles above your head. And no matter where you go, you have to work through that. You have to actively do hard mental work to get rid of those demons and those nightmares, and it's something that I connect with. It's something you may connect with, but it's I don't know, there's something about this whole record. These lyrics are so much better than a lot of the rest of their discography. I love it. Hanging by a thread as I play dead. Can you imagine that? Like, you're playing dead, but you're like pretending like you're hurting, but you're actually still hurting. Hanging by a thread and my mind is code red. He's definitely not drinking Mountain Dew. Cut and run, try to hide, get away, shut my eyes just to hide from the fate. So fate is following you along. You're trying to cut down that thread that you're playing dead from. We have a cool, rhyme scheme in the first two lines, and then hide from the fate and hate. So it's AABB rhyme scheme for the first verse. The second verse is just kind of a list of words at first: demonized, liquefied, tranquilized, prophesized, just to hide from life. And then we end with fight, which is a slant rhyme with life. But really cool. A lot of A sounds in here. Hide, run, shelter. Okay, I'm actually reading these lyrics for the first time. I've been listening to this and I've been guessing what they're saying, but I haven't memorized it yet. The chorus is seething, breathing, nightmares grow, on I run, still my shadows follow. There's not really a rhyme in here, and that is okay. Look at this. A perfect example of why you don't need everything to rhyme. I think a lot of new writers get really stuck in finding those rhymes, and you can have the chorus be as simple as just a single line. You could say, even though these are split up on the website here in separate lines, you could say that this is just one sentence. Seething, comma, breathing, comma, nightmares grow. I guess it's two sentences. Maybe there's a semicolon or an M dash in there. On I run, still my shadows follow. I love this. Simple, straight to the point, says exactly what we need to know. We have a reference to Like a Wolf. We've got Of Wolf and Man in their discography. Beast is hungry. Maybe I am the beast that feeds the feast from Bleeding Me. Never Can I Stop. Twisting, turning through the never. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could be references to their catalog, but it's its own piece at the same time. In the bridge section, we have Cut and Run, a reference to the first verse. We have Cover Up. We have Like a Wolf, a reference to the second verse, and closing in Wish Away, Shut My Eyes. Shut My Eyes could be a reference to Shut the Light, a little Enter Sandman in there. Wish it away. You're wishing for all this pain to disappear. And then at the very end, we're facing your demons. You're deciding, you know what? I'm tired of these shadows following. I am going to do something. Now I know if I run, still my shadows follow. So no matter what you do, they're going to be there. You know this now. You're recognizing it. And then you say, you know what? Screw you, shadows. No. Hold it out for 2 extra beats. Doesn't matter. Still your shadows follow. So it's kind of a horror right here. It's ending on a sorrowful note because even though you stood up to the demons, to the nightmares, they're still going to follow. And that's really, that's life. I mean, that really happens. That's trauma. That is just depression. It's whatever you want to put to it, whatever darkness in your life. That's something that I think a lot of people experience. I don't want to say we all. There's some really privileged people out there. You're lucky. But a lot of people experience some form of this in their life. And so I think that it's really important that James is reflecting on this, putting it out in there in the world and letting us know that he's hurting so that we can be there for him. And I hope that when you're singing songs like this, when you're writing songs like that, it helps people know to be there for you. But also, I find that music is often a solution for me, at least a temporary one. When I'm experiencing some form of trauma, I find that playing the drums, playing the guitar, singing out a sad song really makes me feel a lot better. So I encourage you to try it for yourself. If you haven't created something lately, go pick up a pen and paper or an instrument and please just get that out. Share it with the world. They might identify it. They might find hope in your words, and they might do the same. One by one, with our talents, we can save the world. At least, certainly hope that we can. So that's the video. What did you think of Shadows Follow? I know that it's one of my top. I'm going to do the math. I'm going to put it in the comments as I have below. I'm not a big fan of my old ranking system, so at some point I'm going to have to redo all these numbers. But for now, I'll put the old ranking system number in the comments below. But just know it's a pretty good number, as is the rest of the record. So looking forward to going through the rest of this with you all. I apologize for how long it's going to take. I have a full-time job, but I will get to it eventually. Hey, I love you. I am so thankful for your support and for sitting around as I try to figure out how to say words. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and remember, you rock.